dated looking. But people try to argue. They're like, oh, but what cabinets they're back in? I'm like, yes, they are, but they don't look like yours. Most people don't want it. And if you're one of the ones that wants it, get on Craigslist. Because people are literally throwing it away. Oh, this is such a good one. This is a crowd favorite. I cannot wait to hear your comments about this one. I know, I'm like, here comes the evil laugh. Well, hello, welcome to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina, and today we are talking about what makes your home look dated. I was over at a friend's house recently, and she turns to me and says, does my house look dated to you? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, when I go to people's houses, I'm not normally looking around thinking, ooh, dated looking. I mean, maybe you guys do that, but I typically don't. I'm just hanging out with friends, hanging out with family, and just having a good time and not thinking about things. But when my friend did ask me that, I thought, what is it that makes a home look dated? How do we even know what those things are? So today I thought it'd be a bit of fun to chat about the things that make a home look dated and then what is in style. So maybe if you have one of these items and you're thinking about making an upgrade or an update to your home, you'll know what you should be doing instead. So I hope you'll love today's video. Hope you'll hit subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. And let me know if you have one of these things in your home. I think I've had, or maybe even still have, some of these in my own home because we bought a home from the that was built in the early 90s, and we have been renovating this one slowly over time, and that's just how it goes. So let's jump in and chat about these items. Paint colors. Paint colors are probably the first thing that most people notice when they walk into a home. And I do think it's interesting because when we talk about whether a home is dated, it's very interesting because how old does something have to be before it becomes dated? Something that was being done like 5 to 7 years ago has a slightly dated feel. Something that was being done 15 to 20 years ago starts to look fairly dated. And let's say that you still have the original 1960s, 1970s, orange, brown, that kind of very clearly decade-driven style, that's gonna be super dated. So I think you have to look at your home. I think most people can recognize that something that's from the 60s or even the 50s all the way through to like the early 80s, most people can walk in and say, that looks dated. What colors, if you have these, what colors might you want to change your home to? Well, a lot of people have been doing gray. That was kind of like early to mid 2000s. Lots of agreeable gray, lots of grayish colors. Those colors are actually starting to go out. They're not gone yet, and a lot of people are still using them. But if you are just getting ready to paint a room, you might want to think about maybe using something a little more neutral. Whites are really, really in. They never really go out of style. They're always there. And I think that when you pair them with a lot of warm tones, like warm brown undertone beiges, blacks, browns, those colors, a white can actually be a very lasting color, and it goes with everything. So I do think that white is a pretty safe color. In this room, I have Simply White, which is a very pure white, but you could also go with a color like Dove Wing. We've been using that a lot in a lot of our renovations, and it's a very soft white, and it's not quite as gray as like Agreeable Gray by Sherwin-Williams, but Dove Wing by Benjamin Moore, Simply White by Benjamin Moore as well. I'll put down in the show notes the paint colors that I'm talking about. But these are colors that I think that you'll be happier with if you go ahead and update with those. I do think that beige is, we've been talking about this for a while, it's big news, it's coming back. Gray is 100% going out right now. Beige is really in, but we're always looking for ones that are brown undertone rather than yellow undertone. I think that's super, super important. And I will leave a link to the video that I've done talking about white paint colors, and I'll link the one also about the beige colors so that you can watch those videos if you're just maybe this is your first time tuning into the channel and you haven't seen that content. I hope that it's really helpful to give you ideas about the kind of paint colors to be on the lookout for and how to choose them for your home. But yeah, I'll leave all that linked up down below in the description box. Doorknobs. That is probably the question that I get, like literally my phone blows up. Like if I'm gonna have a text from a friend about decor, it's probably gonna be about the doorknobs or maybe like the hardware on the cabinets. It all kind of goes together. Most of us typically will use one metal throughout the house or maybe two. I do mix in lots of them myself, but that's a video for another day, how to do that. But I do think that it is important to have generally one, maybe two at the most of metals in your home, especially if you're not sure about this. Most of the time, the dated look, I think most of us probably know it's the brass. It's that shiny brass. It's not just the brass color. Like if you have a live brass, which means that it just ages over time, that look pretty much is always in style. And it ages, and it's meant to do that. It's meant to look patinaed over time. That style typically never really goes out. It's just sort of consistent because the person who bought it knew that it was something that you'd always want, and that was the point in buying it. But for a long time, people were using the shiny brass and using it with doorknobs, that either the rounded ones, which are the ones that I was literally filming an Instagram the other day, and I realized I still have one of those left in my house. I was like, how did we miss one? I don't know. You know, sometimes we just put our blinders on when we are in our own homes and we're just living our life, hopefully the best life we've got, right? And just having a good time. And sometimes we just stop seeing things in your homes. I'm like that too. Even though I do this for a living, right? Sometimes even I miss it. And I was like, that little round doorknob needs to go. So what am I switching it out with? Well, not chrome. I have to be honest with you. Sometimes chrome can be very in, right? Any of the silver tones, right? Nickel, chrome, matte or not, those tones typically are not being used right now. They can look just really neutral though. So I wouldn't completely discount them, but most of the time right now, most people are updating with either a modern silhouette on the hardware in a new shade of brass, or they're doing either black or like a really dark bronze color. Those are really the safe place. If you're really not sure, I would go with one of those. Because I really think that, first of all, something a little bit more modern does make a big difference, right? The shape of it is also part of what makes it look dated or not. So anything with too much busyness to it or the rounded knobs, most people are not putting those in right now. There's every now and then like a really great company that'll put out something really modern and you're like, oh, that looks amazing. But generally, if you're gonna be going to Home Depot to buy your door handles, I would go with the dark bronze colors. I would go with the matte black. Yeah, maybe if they've got a really nice brass, maybe one of those, but generally I'm probably gonna put the bronze or the black in. That's just me. I think it's more lasting, it's neutral, and I just think it looks great. Okay, yeah, cabinets. This is one that's really hard because if people have paid a lot of money to put their cabinets in, they do not like to be told that they are dated. That is just the truth. It gets them very cranky. And I always say it doesn't matter whether it's dated or not if you enjoy it. It does not matter. But my mom has cherry cabinets. When she put them in, she knew that they were not in style, and she does not care because she loves her cherry cabinets. She had dreamed of them for years. She still loves them. There is no way that woman is ever gonna paint those cabinets white. No. She loves her cherry cabinets and really enjoys them, and that is fine. Now, if we were listing the house for sale, I'd be like, Mom, nobody really wants cherry cabinets anymore. And I think that you would probably make a lot more money off of your house if we painted it. Okay, there, I said it. Okay, maybe Mom will skip this video. I should send her a text message. Just skip this one, okay, Mom? It's very sweet that she watches every one of them, and I love that. But this might be a good one to skip. I think most people with those wood cabinets of yesteryears, those 90s, early 2000s, those oak color cabinets, the cherry cabinets, those are definitely a fairly dated look. The other part about it is also the fact that we've moved to almost exclusively using inset cabinets. What that basically means is that the cabinet is inset into the framing and you don't see the hinge. So there, a lot of the older styles, you would see the hinge or the cabinet is sitting outside of the framing. It's sitting on top of it. That style, those are also giveaways that your cabinetry is quite dated. I don't just throw all that out, to be honest with you. It's not the end of the world to have that dated style. I do think that it looks better in the white. If they were in the oak color, I would have painted them. You can paint them any color you want. White, black, navy blue, green, whatever you like. But I do think that the oak style just looks better painted. The weird thing about it is that wood cabinets are coming back in, which is a lot of times what people try to argue. They're like, oh, but wood cabinets, they're back in. I'm like, yes, they are, but they don't look like yours. Oh my gosh, am I really gonna put this on the internet? Yeah, probably. And then I'm gonna get a lot of angry comments, but you know, it's just the truth. It's what I hear people say, and I'm like, yeah, you know, yes, wood is coming back, but it does not look like that. Okay, it just doesn't. We've changed the way that we do kitchens. There's all kinds of fun things that you can have installed in your kitchen. But if you're not ready for that, who cares? Like, right? Like, this is what I keep trying to say. It's like, yeah, the integrated refrigerator and the trash can pullouts and the little beverage cooler and all the fun things that you can have with your kitchen nowadays are really nice bonuses. But if your cabinets are serving you and you love them, you don't have to change them. You might want to paint them. You might not want to. Maybe leave it for the next person. But I do think that it does look dated. Since we've talked about the cherry cabinets, let's just talk about the cherry furniture because, yeah, this is a touchy point for a lot of people. Most people don't want it. And if you're one of the ones that wants it, get on Craigslist. Because people are literally throwing it away. It's heartbreaking for most people who have decided they do not want that cherry furniture and nobody wants it. They are having to pay to have somebody come and take it out. It's bad, okay? It's really out of style. People do not want it. Do I hate it myself? No, I don't hate it. It's just not what I want. It's just not what I want. So what do we want instead? We want something that's a little bit more approachable. We don't want to have that glossy finish. We like a more matte finish. We will take furniture in ebony color, we'll take it in a light oak, we'll take it in a dark walnut, we'll take just about any color. Just not that glossy cherry. Nobody wants it. So if you're into it, just hop on online and start taking everybody else's because they don't want it and they're giving it away. Oh, this is such a good one. This is a crowd favorite. I cannot wait to hear your comments about this one. I know, I'm like, here comes the evil laugh. I can't keep it in. I had this in my house and OMG, I could not rip it out fast enough. My neighbor teased me endlessly about this one because we had it in our house and he was like, you know, that has old toenails in it. And I was like, you might have guessed by now. What am I talking about? Wall-to-wall carpeting. Oh, it's just so not nice. It's just so unpleasant to have wall-to-wall carpeting. We lived with it when we first got in. We had almost no money when we first moved into this house, and you know, just like everybody else, gotta get out there and work. Gotta work for the money. So, you know, closed some real estate deals, saved up my little pennies and saved, and did not take my shoes off inside my own house until that floor had been taken out because that carpet was disgusting. It was so dirty. It was so dirty and just so gross. I could not wait to get that wall-to-wall carpeting out of our house. I mean, literally up the stairs, in the bedrooms, and the bathroom. So I have lived this one. And my youngest was a little bit irritated at mom for taking away his carpet because he liked it. And I felt so bad, and I was like, I feel so bad, but it's going. We are not keeping that stuff. No, absolutely not. We cannot. I'll put down a fluffy rug, that we can clean and we can remove, but we are not putting carpeting back down because it's just, it holds dust. It gets so dirty. You can always see like that black line around the edges where it's just got so much dust on it. And I've had carpet cleaners that have come out and they're like, I can't fix that. You just can't get that out. So sometimes the carpet just has to be replaced. So if you have the budget, I highly suggest putting down some sort of hard surface. Now, if you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to stick to a budget, and maybe you do like the feel of carpeting, I think that like a low pile, more that Berber style carpeting, that actually is not the worst thing in the world. I do still think that if you have allergies, that having carpeting is always gonna be a bit of a problem. It's just gonna hold dust in it. It's just not gonna be the best thing for you. These are the things that make a home feel dated. They're small things. Switching out your doorknobs is a small thing. If you've got cabinets that are dated and you're not enjoying them anymore, you can paint them, or you can just start over with a new design. It just depends on where your budget is, how much you want to invest, right? All those kinds of things, what kind of flooring you put in, all those things. That should be the fun part of this. That's why I like doing this, and I hope you guys do as well, that you just enjoy the journey and have a lot of fun, because it really is fun to transform a space and just see it come alive, and your vision of what it can be, when that happens in a home, it's just next level. And so we've really enjoyed it. I hope that this video has gotten you extra inspired, and it's definitely motivated me to add a new door handle to the honey-do list so that we can finish changing that out for our house too. But thank you guys so much for joining me. If you haven't hit subscribe already, I hope that you will. It's really fun to watch this channel grow and this amazing community of fellow design lovers. It's just incredible for me to be a part of it as well. So thank you so much. Cheers, and I will see you guys in the next one.